Hey there Fazbear fans, welcome back to the channel where we break down all things Fazbear World Tower Defense and help you level up your game. If you've ever stared at those shiny banners and wondered, should I spend my hard-earned Fazbucks now or save them for something better? Don't worry, I've got you covered. Today we're diving into the ultimate unit tier list so you'll know exactly when to roll and when to wait. This isn't just about stats, we're talking real strategies here, because picking the right units can be the difference between surviving a wave of animatronic chaos or getting completely overrun. I've done the homework, tested the units, and ranked them all so you can make the smartest decisions. Stick around because by the end of this video, you'll be rolling like a pro and crushing those waves like a Fazbear legend. Let's get started. I'm quickly moving on to the video and I'm ranking units in Fazbear World Tower Defense. Before we start, if you enjoy these types of tier list videos, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Enjoy watching.
A very small portion of the audience is subscribed to the channel. Please don't forget to subscribe if you like these types of videos. Thanks.
The units in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Withered Foxy, Phantom BB, Mangle, Chica, Endo01, Phantom Freddy, and Freddy. Alright, let's talk about the D tier units in Fazbear World Tower Defense, aka the benchwarmers of your roster. These guys aren't total disasters, but let's be honest, they're not exactly setting the world on fire either. Think of them like that one coworker who's super friendly, but just can't seem to get the job done. They're fine for beginners learning the ropes, but as soon as you've got something better, you'll want to kindly thank them for their service and move on. Now, don't get me wrong, they're not completely useless. In the early stages, these units might save you from getting steamrolled, and hey, we've all got to start somewhere, right? But once the competition heats up, their weaknesses start to show. Whether it's their nerfed stats or just a lack of oomph to keep up with the meta, these units are destined to get replaced. So enjoy them while you can, but don't get too attached. They're just a stepping stone to greatness. The units in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, JJ, Withered Freddy, Nightmare Chica, Toy Bonnie, Toy Foxy, Bonnie Foxy, Phantom Mangle, and Phantom Chica. Alright, let's talk about some of the unsung heroes of Fazbear World Tower Defense, the C tier units. These aren't the flashy, game-changing units you might dream of, but they definitely hold their own and can be a great starting point. We're talking about units that may not have the crazy abilities of S tier, but still get the job done in the early to mid game. First up, we've got Withered Freddy. He's not the most exciting unit to use, but he's a solid choice for a rare. With his reliable damage output, he can hold his own and even help you rake in some early cash. So, if you're just starting out, don't sleep on this guy. He may not be flashy, but his consistent damage makes him a dependable pick for getting your tower defense journey off to a good start. Then there's Nightmare Chica. Man, this one is a beast for a rare. I mean, she used to be even better than Springtrap before he got his buffs, so that's saying something. Nightmare Chica hits hard, and with the right setup, she can carry you through some tough waves early on. For a rare unit, she's definitely one to look out for. Now, we've got Toy Bonnie. This one's kind of a sleeper hit. Not the best of the best, but still a solid C tier pick. With some decent buffs, Toy Bonnie can hold his own in a fight. He's got enough staying power to outshine some of the lower tier units, and while he's not going to be carrying your team solo, he's definitely worth considering for your squad. And finally, Phantom Mangle. Oh, the good old Phantom Mangle. If we're talking about commons, this is pretty much the best of the bunch. It's got enough DPS to not only compete with uncommons, but actually hold its own in battle. So, while commons might not be the first pick for most players, Phantom Mangle proves that with the right stats, even a common can surprise you. So, there you have it, C tier units in Fazbear World Tower Defense. They may not be the flashiest or most powerful, but they can definitely get the job done if you use them wisely. The units in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, BB, Nightmare Foxy, Withered Chica, Toy Freddy, Toy Chica, Helpy, and Endo2. Alright, let's dive into some B tier units from Fazbear World Tower Defense. Now, I know B tier usually means these guys are kinda in the middle of the pack. Good, but not the best, you know? But don't let that fool you. These units still bring some serious value to the table. So grab some popcorn and let's talk about which B tier units might just surprise you in your next game. First up, we've got BB. Now I know what you're thinking, BB's got the stats, right? But here's the thing, those balloons can be a little unpredictable. While BB outshines all the epics in terms of stats, those balloons sometimes just don't hit where you need them to. It's like they've got a mind of their own. If the enemies aren't grouped properly, BB might end up wasting a shot. Not ideal when you're hoping for those perfect hits, so unless you're rocking some serious legendaries, BB might not be your best bet. Then there's Nightmare Foxy, who's honestly one of the best starters in the game. Why? Well, it's all about the cost to effectiveness ratio. Foxy does a lot with a little, which makes him a solid pick early on. You don't need to grind to get him to a decent level, and he's pretty reliable in the early rounds. Definitely someone you can count on when you're still building up your squad. Next, let's talk about Withered Chica. She's a great alternative to Withered Bonnie if you're looking for a solid buffer. Chica's got decent strength and can really help boost the performance of your other units. If you've got her in the right spots, she can be a big help, especially when things start getting chaotic later in the game. Toy Freddy is a bit of a late bloomer. This guy doesn't really start cooking until you get him leveled up, but once you do, he can be an absolute powerhouse. At lower levels, you might be wondering what the fuss is about, but stick with him and he'll start pulling his weight. He's got that potential, and when he's fully powered up, he's definitely worth the wait. Lastly, we've got Helpy and Endo02. Helpy, despite the nerfs, is still a decent coin farming unit. Sure, he might not be the insta-win machine he once was, but he's still useful for gathering those extra coins, which can make a big difference in your strategy. As for Endo02, a lot of people sleep on this one, but he's actually a fantastic starter and money farming unit. If you need something reliable to get you through the early waves and build up some cash, Endo02's a solid pick, just don't underestimate him. So, there you have it. B tier units that might just surprise you if you give them a chance. They're not top tier, but hey, they've still got their moments, and if used right, they can make a huge difference in your game. Just remember, even the middle of the pack can pack a punch. The units in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Fredbear, Nightmare Freddy, Springtrap, Nightmare, Plushtrap, and Withered Bonnie. Alright folks, if you're looking to spice up your Fazbear World Tower Defense team with some solid A tier units, you're in the right place. These units are the ones you want to rely on when you're climbing those towers and need a mix of power and versatility. First up, we've got Fredbear. Now, don't be fooled by his cuddly appearance. This guy is a beast when it comes to AoE damage and affliction. He's an absolute staple, especially if you're just starting out. Trust me, you can't go wrong with him. He's like that dependable friend who always shows up on time and does what needs to be done. Fredbear just works, plain and simple. Next, let's talk about Nightmare Freddy. If you need a unit that can melt through enemies one by one, this is your guy. His DPS is insane, and not only does he dish out affliction damage, but he's got some cool summon abilities too. The only catch? He needs a bit of gold to get started, but once he's up and running, you'll be seeing why he's one of the best single target units in the game. Now, for the fans of AoE, Springtrap is your new best friend. With the rework, he's feeling much smoother and stronger. He delivers excellent AoE affliction damage once upgraded, making him a top tier pick for those big overwhelming waves of enemies. And if you're in need of support, Plushtrap is here to save the day. His boost is a must-have, especially if you're not running RWQFSFASXC. Lastly, don't forget about Withered Bonnie, the best epic unit, hands down. Pair him with Plushtrap, and you've got a combo that can take on just about anything. The units in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Shadow Freddy, Marionette, RWQFSFSXC, and Spring Bonnie. Let's talk about the absolute monsters of Fazbear World Tower Defense. The S tier units that will have you breezing through the toughest levels. If you're looking to ramp up your strategy and dominate, these guys are the ones you need. First up, we have Shadow Freddy. Now this guy isn't just a shadow, he's the shadow of doom. Shadow Freddy brings the most insane AoE damage in the entire game. When it comes to clearing out hordes of enemies, he's the one you want on your team, no questions asked. Next in line is Marionette, and let me tell you, this unit isn't just about looking creepy. She competes with Shadow Freddy for the top spot in terms of raw DPS. That means she's constantly dealing damage and keeping the pressure on, which is perfect for those tricky levels where you need sustained damage. Honestly, either Shadow Freddy or Marionette should be in your lineup if you want to stand a chance on the hardest stages. Then, there's RWQFSFASXC. This unit is, hands down, the best buffer in the game. Whether it's damage, cooldown, or range, RWQFSFASXC boosts everything to insane levels. With his buffs, you'll be dealing more damage than ever, and your team will have the edge to take down those tough enemies. He's the game changer, the unsung hero that makes your other units shine even brighter. Lastly, we have Spring Bonnie, a legendary powerhouse that's almost on the same level as Mythics. Not only does she dish out crazy damage, but her AoE stuns are a game changer. She'll keep enemies in check while your team does its thing. Spring Bonnie isn't just a good pick, she's a must-have for any top tier strategy. The video ends here. See you in another video. Don't forget to subscribe.